Hello and welcome to the Old Man Orange Podcast. I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
And I'm Ryan Dunnigan.
Dude, we're gonna get super fucking Star Fox into it because, you know, we came from our Mario May series of, you know, hashtag Mario May and whatnot. And it was just fun to kind of go through a bunch of random ass stuff. And in that process, we're like, hey, dude, what about, remember those Nintendo Power Star Fox comics? And it's like, yeah, dude, that'd be fucking awesome. And then lo and behold, we found a digital file where someone like nicely cropped them all together from the issues and put them together, so you don't have to go out and manually search for them. I bet you I could find probably some of them if I went through my stack, but that would be, God, that would take some time to find them.
Here's a question I have. Was there another run of these? Because for some reason, this just goes back to stuff in the schoolyard, and I just might be mixing things up, or some kid may have been talking out his ass. But I remember somebody having one of these Star Fox, like having the Nintendo Power and having one of these Star Fox comics, and like robot versions of Star Wolf were in it. And not the Robot Pig, but robot versions of Star Wolf were in it. So that has me wondering, was there like a second run of this later down the line, possibly?
There was Star Fox 64 ones, too.
That's maybe what those were. Okay.
Yeah, because this one's...
We have to circle back around.
Yeah, because this one's like super old school. This is like original Star Fox 1993 style. You know, like literally like, hey kids, go out and get your parents to buy you the most expensive Super Nintendo cartridge ever. Yeah, they were fucking pissed at you for getting that Donkey Kong Country, but guess what you're gonna do? You're gonna con them into getting the Star Fox one now.
Was the Star Fox one a little bit more expensive when it first came out?
I guess Star Fox actually is before Donkey Kong Country. Well, fuck me there, but
how could you?
You fucked up the date, Spencer. The only thing you're fucking good at is remembering 4-digit numbers. Oh, I'm sorry, fellas. But
get the bars of soap and the socks. We're gonna Full Metal Jacket his ass.
Well, no, because a lot of these, like, because you know these Super Nintendo games, like they had to put like special chips into them and so on, and this one had the special effects chip and whatnot. But these are like kind of like towards the end of the Super Nintendo cycle. That's where you start getting like those $75 cartridges and so on. And like, keep in mind that's $75 in like 1993, 4, 5. Like, so that like in today's standard, if you almost kind of count, that'd be like $150 game.
It is weird because we even talked about, because we were talking about the Wizard and Mario Brothers. I'm pretty sure, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that was Mario Brothers 3 was $100 when it first came out. I'm thinking, and it just sound. I know this is just time. This is what happens with old things. But thinking like, oh, now you can get that for $4 on a download somewhere. You know, so yeah. It's one of those things where it just makes you stop and think like, really, that was $100? Okay.
Well, I remember parents telling, like, stories. They'd be like, yeah, that Mario Brothers 3 was so fucking hard to find, and people were, like, charging... I think I don't think it was technically released by Nintendo at $100. I just think there was a lot of people charging... I think that was almost how I can remember. People were, like, upping the price because, what are you gonna do? Little Billy and little Janie fucking want Mario Brothers 3. What'd you get?
Oh.
You got $100, Mom? Oh, you don't?
Nintendo's like, we don't give a shit. We're getting... Nintendo's like, we don't give a shit. We're getting that money either way.
Well, it's like a funny old Nintendo story where like Nintendo said like, "Yo, this is the fucking price of the NES. It's the fucking price of the NES. Don't you fucking dare come here. We'll send our fucking plumber in. You don't want to talk to the fucking plumber."
Mario just walks into like a Sam Goody or something with like a hammer slung over his shoulder. It's a nice place here. It'd be a shame if something happens, like knocks over like a salt and pepper like cardboard stand.
Well, I kid you not, there was like a guy, there was a shop that literally, just to kind of like one up like whatever the fucking KB Toys or whatever was next to him, they dropped the price by, I almost don't want to say only like $1, maybe even less than that. Fucking Nintendo shows up being like, you ain't fucking selling Nintendos no more. You give us the fucking license, that's it. You're selling Sega Masters, that's all you fucking get from now. And Atari 7800s. See who shows up at your store now. But it was like the guy just barely dropped the price. You know, it's almost that kind of thing where later on people are like, whoa, this is America. If somebody wants to fucking, if they want to sell it, whatever they want to sell it at, they're a goddamn fucking American. You can't just be forcing in these Japanese rules on people.
We won World War II for a reason, damn it. No. I was going to say, like, I would just assume that, I don't know the details, but there would be at least, like, some agreed upon price, that some kind of contractual price once you went in, like some kind of international thing. Once you I would assume there'd be something like that to stop them from raising or underselling it. In general.
Yeah, and even like if you sort of, I mean, underselling's kind of always it's always like a slippery slope of like, it's always dangerous in some markets where like, I always feel it's dangerous in the indie market because indie people, you watch each other try to like undercut each other, and the next thing you know, everybody's making fucking pennies if they're lucky because they keep undercutting people so much. Like look at like the Switch shop, and you just see those people that like they'll put their game at like a penny. I'm like, I'm surprised Nintendo even allows that, and I know they do it because they want to cheat. And then people will just be like, fuck, it's a penny, I'll buy it. And then next thing you know, they're on the top 20 charts. But whenever I see that, I almost kind of go, fuck you, I'm not buying your fucking game if that's what you're going to do. Have some fucking dignity. Sell your game for a reasonable price, you know what I mean?
I saw a little like side scroller for like $4.99. I liked it, wasn't blown away by it. But I'm like, all right, $4.99 is worth it. Okay.
Well, yeah, $4.99.
That's 99 cents though is 99 cents though. Yeah.
No, they're 99. They'll sell them for like a penny. The cheapskate, and that's like I suppose one's like I know what they're fucking doing. That's the thing is I see it, I'm like I'm not putting you on that top 20 list. You don't fucking deserve it. You know what I mean? Sell your product like a fucking man. Because when you say it's a penny, it sounds like it's fucking dog shit, and I don't want to fucking buy it. Why would I want a penny game? What the fuck is a penny game? Who does that even pay for? You can't even pay your fucking accountant with a penny.
This is their guy from marketing coming in and trying to rally up the troops.
Yeah, well, it's more just, it's a cheater's way. That's how I look at it. It's like, you're cheating your way onto the top 20 list, you know what I mean? It's not saying that you're a legitimate game. But, as I said, like, I'm surprised Nintendo's just so fucking laid back anymore. It's just like, hey, man, whatever, like, you got an indie game? Well, come on over. Like, is it shit? Who fucking cares? Just throw it on the list. Because you watch that list is like, and it's like, Nintendo's never made, on that Switch, I always just think about it, they've never made... like kind of like a nice way to search. It's just a ginormous fucking list that just keeps climbing and climbing and climbing.
It never ends.
Yeah, it's like I always looked at it, I kind of assume I'm like I think Nintendo's like no fuck it that's the fucking list. No, we're not changing the fucking interface.
They're also probably like, you know what? Most people that make indie titles, they grew up playing Nintendo, so they're all trying to do this retro thing anyway, and people like Nintendo for retro shit. In all honesty, I mean, yeah, you get the games that push things forward, like Breath of the Wild, but then you get other games like, well, half of it is pushing to get the thing forward, the other half is nostalgia. So that's probably like, you know what? If we could sell some nostalgia for 99 cents and go from there, yeah, fuck it, let's do it.
Yeah, I think it's just like it's one of those ones. All I think about is like, remember that Nintendo seal of approval thing, like where like you had that was the whole point was quality, so you didn't have the Atari problem because that was Atari. Atari's like, fuck, you got a game? Shit, the game doesn't load up. Who the fuck cares? Slap it out. We'll sell it in the stores, $50. People will buy a $50 version of the Rubik's Cube on Atari.
Here's a question though. Can you really, well actually we should probably don't want to go on this too longer because I want to steer away from the actual main subject, but can you really complain about 99 cents? That's my question. Can you really complain? Like, if you buy a game that was $1 and you say, this game fucking sucks, isn't it kind of your fault by that point? And let's be honest.
Well, yeah, like, okay, no, that's different. Like I say, like, because I always say 99 cents, that's like arcade price, you know what I mean? And even nowadays, it's kind of hard to even find an arcade that's $1 anymore. They're like $2 now. But I always feel like that's an arcade price. Because think about it, you go to the arcade, you popped in $1. You play the game for what, like less than 5 minutes? So if you got a game and it kind of was crap, but you sat down and played it for 5 to 10 minutes, well, you technically got complete money's worth out of it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how I sort of look at it. I look at everything like it's an arcade game. Like, as long as I get my arcade value out of it, I'm doing good.
I'll get it eventually, but the reason I haven't got it yet is because, first off, I got River City Girls, and I want to beat that. Mm-hmm. And then I saw that they had that Jane Silent Bob beat-em-up game. They're like, well, I already got this beat-em-up, and I want to get Streets of Rage next, but Streets of Rage 4. But
I'll tell you this, that Jane Silent Bob game is hard as fuck.
Well, I was going to say, just looking at the graphics, I'm like, I know it's only $14, but... And I'm okay with the retro look, but why does it look like an NES? Why can't I'll take Super NES, but why am I paying $14 for something that looks like an NES game? That's kind of my thing, you know?
That's one of those games that's really a $5 game, but Kevin Smith probably wants, an extra $10 on top of it. Like, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying that I'm not saying like he's greedy, but it's like the Kevin Smith name is why it's so expensive. Because the game itself, if that was made by anybody else and it was just like, Stony Joe and Fat Mick, like, go on a party rampage, it would be $5. It'd be $4.99 out the door, like easily.
That's if the rights fell through. If the rights deal fell through, like, all right, well, make him black, and instead of making the cap backwards, make it facing forwards. Change Jay, we'll call him Ray, and we'll give him like a green jacket instead of a yellow jacket, and lose the beanie. We're good.
Yeah, but that game was the game was one of those ones where it's like, oh, this is tough as fuck. Like, not really in like the good way either. Kind of like, oh. It's not made bad. It's just like, oh god, like I didn't expect that of a Jay and Silent Bob game.
Well, you wouldn't expect a much effort being put into Jay and Silent Bob, not to be a dick, but I mean, it's just the whole thing. It's just like it's slackers. So you think the game would almost be like doesn't ask for a lot of dedication beyond that. But I don't know. I'll play it again. I want to get Streets of Rage 4 first, but I don't want to go on that whole thing.
Sega. That's a Sega topic there. We're talking Nintendo. We're talking 1993. We're talking original Star Fox. We're talking the Star Fox comic actually, but.
Now, here's the thing. I've only played a little bit of the original Star Fox. My exposure to Star Fox was Star Fox 64. That was my real one, because I didn't have a Super Nintendo. And going back and playing original Star Fox, like at a friend's house or on the SNES Classic, it's fun, and I like it, but at the same time, I'm like, I didn't grow up with it, so it doesn't have that charm that Star Fox 64 has. I just use like a lower version of Star Fox 64, you know? But if you didn't grow up playing it, if you grow up playing it though, I could still see how that could like grab you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well that's one of those ones too. Like I played Star Fox 64 first, and then it was kind of like afterwards, it's like, oh okay, like I'll go get Star Fox 1 and 2 because they had them kind of up on like the emulators. It's like sure, why not? Like it's the late 90s, fucking time to party. I know Bill Gates and fucking like Bill Clinton are trying to threaten me, but that's okay. I'm 10 years old. What the fuck are they gonna do? But I so wish I did have Star Fox Star Fox original, like because I bet playing that in 1993 or 94 or even 95, that would have been that game as a kid. You'd been like, oh my fucking god. So amazing. You know what I mean? It's so radically cool. Like, there was this game on Laserdisc. This sounds fucking weird, but, like, that it was kind of like Star Fox. And it's, like, in my mind, I picture the graphics like they were almost lifelike. You know, if we went back in time, it probably wouldn't be. But Laserdisc games, like, if you thought a Sega CD game looked realistic, these Laserdisc games were, like, even farther. And I remember, like, it reminded me a lot of Star Fox, especially, like, the end of Star Fox 64 when you're kind of flying through like the big tunnels and like the bricks start falling over and you almost are chasing that big statue guy. Like that game had the look like that. That's what this Laserdisc game looked like. And I'm not really too sure. I can't remember what it's called because those Laserdisc games are so hard to look up anyways. But like I just imagine though, but having Star Fox in 1993 or 4 like on a Super Nintendo, that would have been that game that would have been just you would have been fucking mind blown. You probably would have been like, dude, see the graphics on that thing? It's like I'm in Star Wars, man.
I know, like it's like I'm actually there. Now I did play Star Fox 2 on the and beat because that's actually more of like kind of a quick arcade version of it and different ways to go about it. I did play that one on the Super NES Classic because that one was like vastly different than the first Star Fox, just the gameplay wise. It was more like that Star Fox Command game for the DS. Only it was more of like, oh, you actually do battles and missions rather than just like, go through the loop-de-loops. Like, fuck off with that shit. And be sure to use the stylus. Like, that was the thing. I was so amped for Star Fox Command for the DS, and when I got it, I was like, oh, it's like a strategy game? Okay, that's cool. But then you'd get in the missions like, okay, you just gotta fly through these rings, and then, or there'd be the ones like, okay, you have 30 seconds to kill all these guys here. Or you have to take down the mothership in this amount of time. Like, all right. Like, fly through these rings and do this thing. But don't forget, use the stylus. Like, I never finished the game because of that.
I will say the only thing that was cool about Star Fox Command, because that was that time period where, like, you have all those sweet DS games with multiplayer in it. And I remember the multiplayer in it was real sick. Because you'd just be like, everybody be in fucking class. And you'd, like, fucking whip out your DS, look around, like, teacher's not looking, man. Fucking turn some Star Fox on, and then like that was pretty sick, like having it on there. But beyond that, though, I do remember the rest of it being not nearly as interesting as it should have been.
Another thing that was cool is since you're on a team, you would have to like it's rather than just playing as if you're playing as like Fox, you're playing as a standard R-Wing. If you're playing as Falco, he had his own version of it. Slippy was his own version. It wasn't just, oh, everyone's an R-Wing. It's like, oh, everyone's a different variation of the R-Wing and has a different like speed and abilities and all that. And I remember that being pretty cool. But so like, okay, so there's a reason to play as these other characters rather than just being, oh, who's in it? I can't see him other than the little corner of the screen. All right, whatever. But yeah, maybe I'd like to go back and try that game out again. Maybe have a little bit more patience for it, maybe. I don't know. But reading this, because Star Fox is one of those franchises, like, I absolutely love, like everyone else, Star Fox 64. I really like Star Fox Assault a lot for the GameCube. I think that's a really underrated game. I unfortunately don't like Star Fox Dinosaur Planet, Star Fox Adventures. I didn't like that one, unfortunately. And I... also, I never had a Wii U, so I never played Star Fox Zero.
That one's the other one where it's like Star Fox Assault that I just felt like never got enough love. Because, in my personal opinion, I think the Star Fox Wii U title, or Star Fox Zero, other than the fact that they do another sort of reboot of it, which that's about my only like slight complaint. It's just continue it forward. Like, what the, you know what I mean? But
do they act like, oh, this is the first time we've met or something?
Oh yeah, it is like kind of like another reboot, just like Star Fox 1 or Star Fox 64. But whatever. Beyond that though, I thought that game played so well. I thought that was like literally the takeaway game of the entire Wii U lot. You know, like, because each system kind of has that one game. Maybe there's a couple games, but there's mostly that one game that really solidifies the experience. Like, I'd say if the N64, like Mario 64, that solidifies the entire, like, Nintendo 64 experience. You know what I mean? It's kind of funny because it's, like, the first game, but, like, that right there is, like, here's everything to fucking come. You know? I thought that in the Wii U, the Star Fox Zero, that was fucking it. That game was sick, but nobody played. I think as most people played it, and they got in like, wait, the controls, it's like, it moves, it feels weird, fuck this game. And they just like toss the controller up, and they're like, they didn't even give it like a time of day. I think that was the downfall. Is that there, and there's just those people out there that are just so racist against motion controls. Like, they see like, oh, you gotta move your hands, it's fucking stupid. You did, like, well, you didn't even play the game. Well, I don't have to play the fucking game. Motion controls are dumb. Like, those kind of people, and I just think that, you know, I
heard a lot of the thing that sucks is trying to fly it with the controller and then trying to aim it with the pad, which that sounds confusing, but at the same time, I don't know, I didn't play it. Sometimes you get kind of used to that sort of thing. I'd be up for maybe playing that next time I'm up visiting or something, but because that's a game, that's the only Star Fox game I haven't played by this point, so I would like to check that one out. But yeah,
the outside like the aiming in it, it pretty much is like 90% like a Star Fox game. And then the aiming is only if you really want to. So it's got that kind of thing where, like, almost like how some of like the modern Zelda games had it, where like you could just slightly move like the 3DS or something like that, and it would kind of help your aim. I know some people hate that, but like I thought that was fucking sick, and that's almost how it was there. So you could be flying along and like, well, I could just move up and shoot that enemy, or I could just kind of tilt up and shoot him too. Like I thought that was sick.
Okay, all right. Well, going into this, because by that point, I guess that was sort of a restart on it. Star Fox Assault did a good job of expanding everything, and Star Fox Adventure kind of expand. I actually like the way they portrayed Fox in Star Fox Adventure, because even though I like Star Fox 64, he is kind of like, I will do what I must do to save the universe. Okay, Fox, father, you know, at the end. But then in Star Fox Adventure and Assault, he's a little bit more of kind of like the reluctant hero, and he's kind of not like totally Han Solo-ish, but he's more like, fuck. Like, you know, and they kind of get across the team's a little bit more ragtag. Like in, you know, there's a mission like, all right, I need you to like send me the Groundmaster, and then it's like completely on the other side of the level. He's just like, oh, it's targeting is as amazing as ever. Here we go, you know. So you have to go kill all these like bug things to get over to it. So he's a lot more like dismissive, and there's a little bit of that in this comic. And they do. I'll say this. I like the comic. I think it starts off better. I think it starts off really good. Middle of it kind of wanes a little bit, and then it picks back up at the end.
Yeah, it kind of does have that, you know what I mean? It's like one of those ones, sometimes some of these are like, these older ones, you always kind of wonder, because they're kind of almost made to sort of sell stuff, and it's at like a time like before you kind of have everything sort of dialed in, so the guy's like, hey, I'll just take a stab at it, let's see what happens.
Well, they're adding their own, they're kind of adding their own lore to it, and they're also just like, well, what do we have off it? And the idea of the Star Fox team starting off as just a bunch of outlaws on a planet, stealing from Imperial cruisers, which, like, there's an evil empire out there. I thought we were part of the empire and the bad guys were the rebels, Venom or whatever, but which is always something about Star Fox, which, I guess it's just two warring armies more than just being rebels. But it starts off that they're just basically out there on, like, speeder bikes raiding ships and all that, and eventually they get called in to go do a bigger job for Corneria.
Yeah, exactly. I also like, too, because, like, they even draw Fox in this one. Like, he has some scenes where he just looks, like, super fucking angry. Like, there's that one where he's like fucking looking down at fucking Falco, like, slaps him, like, across the fucking face. He's like, fucking featherbrains? We aren't fucking thieves. Get fucking over it. You get used to it now. I found you when you were out in the street fucking, like, huffing paint and selling heroin.
Don't think I forgot. I never did. I think I could see that being totally an artist thing for him, because, like, all right, what can we do? And I could see, like, well, you know what? When dogs and foxes are mad, they raise their teeth. So I can see that just being an artistic thing. But whenever he gets angry, he does that thing where his lips are curled up and you see his teeth. It's like, oh shit, okay, And then, like, Falco is always way more reluctant. He's like, oh, I don't want to fucking do this. And Pepe's like, I'm just here for the ride. Don't you worry about it. And Slippy's like, I'm here too. Like, all right, Slippy, go in the other fucking room.
Well, then they also make Slippy stutter at the same time, so I think, I got to, it's like, Jesus Christ, Slippy, quit fucking stuttering.
If anything, I'll say this, I'm glad we read this.
Shut the fuck up, Slippy.
Falco's like, the only thing that's gonna shut him up is if you jam a dick in his mouth. Oh! He always comes across
trying to show me a picture of his fucking girlfriend. That was a picture of his fucking sister.
Same thing in frog culture. There's nothing but dirty fucking toads there.
Yeah,
Falco always comes across
she got a fucking wart from her. Like, what fucking diseases has she got? I don't fucking want it.
Like, Falco always comes across to me as Andrew Dice Clay, kinda.
Yeah, sort of. It just sort of like, oh, fuck, we're on one of these another fucking... Like, he's almost that kind of guy who's like, how'd this guy get fucking hired in this unit? Like, well, they had a spot available, and, they needed a bird on the team.
I could I could actually see it being I could see it being something to the effect of, like, Falco and, like, Fox got into a street race, and they made a bet. This is like, Fox like, all right, you gotta join my team now, you're my slave now, basically.
Yeah, I could be something like that. Or really, Falco always feels like a guy who, like, he's that guy who probably is really skilled, but he also kind of lets his emotions kind of, like, dictate a little too much. And so on.
He's probably somebody, if he didn't have a friend, because even though a fox can be brash, he knows to hold back a lot of the times given the situation. He's one of those guys, if he didn't have a friend like Fox, he probably wouldn't have a job. Because he'd probably be like, the second the drill sergeant yelled at him, he'd probably sock him in the face and get dishonorably discharged or something. So being on a mercenary team where he kind of sort of answers to Fox is probably the thing, like, all right,
Yeah, look, as Fox has been holding back, like, yo, Falco, you gotta stand down. It's not fucking worth it, man. It's not fucking worth it.
He could speak his language. I guess if he doesn't come at him from an authoritative figure, that's how it goes. And, like, Pepe's a little bit more of kind of like, what am I doing with all these kids here? Oh, God damn it. And Slippy's like, I got nowhere else to go.
Yeah, Slippy's that person just running behind you like, oh, Fox! Fox! God, Jesus Christ. Why'd you fucking invite him over? Oh, we need a fourth player for Smash Brothers. Oh, you couldn't have found anybody fucking else. He's like, well, hold on. I got pizza. Yeah, that's why we brought him fucking over. He's paid for pizza. It's worth it, fucking Falco. It's worth it. He's like, I don't think any fucking pizza's worth that. No fucking pizza's worth that.
And that's coming from the Italian on the team.
Yeah.
I'll say this. If anything, reading this book, there's a... I mentioned this a couple of times because I like it so much. There is a fan-made animated series online called A Fox in Space, and it's kind of like this 80s cyberpunk kind of gritty version of Star Fox. The thing is, it sounds kind of like ironic, and like, because every so often you'll see those fan-made things like, oh, what if Pokemon was dark? What if Mario was dark? And there's the joke, and I know we make dark jokes, but it's kind of like it runs its course pretty quickly, But this actually, it feels, you could see the guy genuinely loves Star Fox, and he brings aspects of Star Fox lore you wouldn't expect. And since, in all honesty, there's not a lot to pull from, he kind of goes from angles you wouldn't always expect. He even pulls from the he makes references multiple ways from like the Star Fox Blockbuster video, where like there's a part where someone they're interrogating somebody, I think Slippy's dad, about the R-wing engine, and the people who are interrogating him are a hedgehog and a
oh, you mean the Nintendo Power video?
Yeah. Was it a Blockbuster or was it Nintendo?
No, Nintendo Power.
Oh, Nintendo Power.
Yeah, because he said Blockbuster. I was like, what's this Blockbuster video he's talking about?
Oh, I'm thinking of the Banjo, because I mixed it with the Banjo-Kazooie one. Yeah, no, there's he's getting interrogated by a bandicoot and a hedgehog, and it's basically a recreation of that scene, but it's with like on why the G diffuser works or whatever on the ship. And there's this other, and it gets a little deeper and heavier in certain parts. It has a little bit like kind of like a Tom Clancy thing in certain parts of it. It's a really, really good series. And reading this, I'm like, oh shit, so he was pulling from this too, because in that, Slippy stutters a lot. And in that, they also get across, like, there's a flashback episode, which he's only has one full episodes out, and he's kind of released clips of other parts. But Falco, they get across that he used to do street racing, and they acknowledge that in this, among other things. So, yeah.
I also like, too, in this comic, because they also get to the point where it's like they're fighting lizards and so on like that. Like, that's who they're kind of fighting at the beginning before they even get around to, like, Andros or anything.
Are lizards the boss in the original?
No, it's Andros.
It's always been Andros, okay.
Because the original one and Star Fox 64 are kind of about the exact same game.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's jump on this for a second. I really like the artwork on this, because the artwork actually looks kind of it almost looks kind of like
sort of watercolory almost.
Watercolory. I kind of could see this being almost like it kind of gives me not to the level of like, you know, tits and guns, but it kind of gives me like a 1970s like sci-fi comic kind of feel to it.
Yeah, well, you know what it has, because I just really look at it, I'm like, it has like a very heavy metal feel as well, like the heavy metal movie. Like I can
maybe
see...
a little 2000 AD kind of.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's got that kind of. I mean, like technically, if you think about it, Star Fox, was sort of created by a British person anyway, so or at least the 3D engine. But
that makes sense. Yeah.
It seemed like British people were making 3D all the time for Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
But no, the artwork in it is really neat. Like I like that design. I like just the look of everything. Like it almost just feels like you could almost take this whole script and just turn it into like almost kind of like a hour and a half long movie, like animated film, kind of like no different than like almost like Star Chaser and Rock and Roll and Heavy Metal, like in that kind of vibe.
It would be very, and that's actually, it's kind of funny you said it, because that's sort of the feel, the I don't want to keep going back to this, but A Fox in Space kind of has that 80s animation vibe, kind of a little bit of Ralph Bakshi in there, has a little bit of sense of that to it. So it's one dude doing the whole thing too, which is amazing. So anyway, I do like how there's a whole part where they do this stowaway, like they get called from General Pepper, like, look, I understand you guys like knocking over the occasional like Lizard Empire ship, but we could actually kind of use your help, because we need good you guys are apparently the best pilots, and we just need whatever we can get by this point. So they have this whole part where they have to sneak aboard just a big vessel, and just like there's some of the small things they say, like, what? If only they can get us like fucking first class seats. I don't see what the big deal is. And then at some point, like they have to break out, stop a hijacking. And there's Farah, who is a character, which I'm kind of curious if they got Farah in this, because she's only in Star Fox 2, which never got released up until recently.
This character is actually only for the comic. That you're thinking of somebody different in Star Fox 2.
Oh, that's not the character from Star Fox 2?
No, it's not. It's so this character is created just for the comic book.
Oh, okay. All right, but she looks similar.
Yeah, she looks kind of, because I thought the same thing too, and then I looked it up and I was like, oh, that's not the same character. Okay. But yeah, Farrah Phoenix. So they can almost give Star Fox like a girlfriend pretty much in this.
Yeah, his Sally Acorn, more or less.
Yeah, that's exactly what it really is, sort of.
Because she is kind of like a princess, or at least the daughter of like a high-ranking officer or politician or some shit.
Yeah, and then, you know, even Fox almost has sort of a Sonic the Hedgehog feel in this, because he has a little bit different personality than he does, like, I guess if you'd say like Star Fox 64 or something like that.
He doesn't have the whoa man attitude, but he has more of kind of like, he's kind of like, we're gonna do the righteous thing, but then, like, you know, he gets kind of like irritated whenever he gets irritated, and he's tired of trying to live up to his father, because everyone calls him Junior, and that's the one thing that always pisses him off. That, and Falco always seems to be things in it for the money, but he's one of the best people on the team. So he kind of comes, even though this came out before this, he's kind of like the Jane from Firefly, sort of.
Yeah, exactly. But at the end of the day, you know, he's the guy you can kind of trust to have your back, even though at first he's complaining that you could have got a fucking moon and instead you ordered first-class seats.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. It's like, you could have asked, we just saved a billionaire's daughter, and you asked for first-class seats. We could have got a goddamn moon. It's like, yeah, I can't think of what to do with the moon right now.
Well, I love that line he has, because he's like, moons aren't nearly as comfortable.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that was like, that's some, like, nice witty writing you got in there, you know? So
it's not, like, jam-packed with that, but there is some good moments. Like, all right, that's a little more clever. It's not like a bad book, but there's, yeah.
Well, it's because it's at that same time where it's like, you know, in a sense, you could kind of say it's kind of made for, like, kids and so on. Even though it's got a lot of weird fucking Elvis, like, Presley references for some odd reason. Like, it's like, those are those things whenever I see that in there, I'm like, why would you put an Elvis Presley reference in this, like, Star Fox universe? Like, I just, like, I always think those things are so fucking weird. Like, I'll say there is an actual Sergeant Pepper reference, but, like, that one's kind of funny. It's just, like, you know, when he's, like, General Pepper's giving a story about the past. He's like, when I was Sergeant Pepper, and it shows him, like, standing, like, in a Sergeant Pepper's, like, album cover thing. I just thought that was kind of just a funny little nod. But the Elvis one's like, why do they keep referencing Elvis so many times in here? Like,
I'll be honest, the Elvis ones went over my head, and I just realized the Sergeant Pepper joke just now.
And the Sergeant Pepper one I thought was just kind of funny, because it's just like, yeah, it's a little bit farther in the story, but, like, General Pepper's just going on a big old fat story and whatnot. And it just has that. That made me laugh, but... Yeah, as I said, the Elvis ones I thought were kind of like, it's just such a weird one. Just like, fuck it. I don't know, just put an Elvis line in here. Shit, they're fucking kids. It's either some Americans like translating this. And he's like, fucking kids gotta know who the fucking king is.
They gotta know. You gotta know what time it is. Fuck Jerry Lee.
Nobody shall forget the fucking king.
And then you move on to, there's that whole part. Then they get this whole little, like, kind of training session where one of the main reasons why they agree to go to it is like, all right, we got these state-of-the-art ships called R-Wings. So that's kind of like their big payment. Like, all right, we get to fly these things? All right, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, they're almost like untested and everything too, because Pepe's almost like, oh, maybe we should run diagnostics on it. It's like, no fucking way, man. That ain't the 90s way. You heard what Captain Ron said. If anything's gonna happen, it's gonna fucking happen out there.
Yeah, we're still quoting the humans, even though by this point they're all extinct.
Yeah, and we ate their souls.
And then like in the middle of the test, Farrah comes in, like, it's almost kind of like, oh, it's kind of like, you know, the new Star Wars movies. It's like how Poe's ship is all like black and orange, but hers is the same thing, but it's an R-wing, which that's a pretty cool look for an R-wing.
No, yeah, I kind of like that. Just a little bit different design. Well, I think that's also, too, it's like, you know, when you make a video game, you know, a lot of times at first you can't always change them all around, but it's like, hey, it's a comic book. Let's just fucking add a little bit more details to it and so on. Make each character kind of have a unique look, sort of like what we get in Command.
I guess that's the thing. Like, now we're at this point where there's, now we're at this point where you have so much lore, it's just like, why would you make anything up when you could pull from that lore? But at this point in time, it's like, well, what else did you have to go off of other than one game at the time? So, all right, give him a girlfriend, add this, add that. And some of the stuff, I'll say, even though they do change and add a lot of things to it, it's stuff that I could still see fitting in that universe pretty well.
No, yeah, it feels Star Fox all the way. And, you know, I never felt like there's ever those, like, weird moments like, oh, that's really not something that I think the team would do or something like that. It's like, no, it's just like, and they just kind of expand. I mean, they got some weird stuff as it gets farther on once we get to Andros and so on. It's kind of interesting. But yeah, no. I think it's just like the fact that, hey, here's Star Fox. He's trying to live up to his dad's name. He's got his ragtag crew. No matter what, like, he's got to, you know, keep going on. They're like, hey, we got Battle Andros now, so you boys are going out there. You're like fucking flying stuff. You're the best pilot ever. Yeah, I'm the best pilot ever. Well, then you got to fly the newest and most deadliest ship. Wait, deadly? Oh, we just haven't tested it yet. Just saying. You know, you're the test run. You're expendable, you know.
Yeah, you're right. Hey, Slippy, get in the ship first. See what happens. What? No, you'll be fine. Stop stuttering.
I slapped the stutter out of you, Slippy.
You just see him just slowly.
So many times, and it's still there.
He's just like duct taped to the seat as they all just slowly close the lid on him. Like, Fox! like and they just like shh, just clicks it shut. It's all soundproof. Like there you go. Just like pat the top of the thing. Like all right, send him off. And it works. Hey, should we turn his communicator back on? No, it's fine.
No,
it's okay.
It's better that way. Yeah.
Just put him on autopilot to follow us. Make sure he's in the back.
Yeah, God forbid if he gets ahead of us and we have to save his ass.
Yeah. If he falls behind, then hey, whatever. We lost an R-wing.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
And your friend. You're right, our friend too. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that R-wing's one of our friends. I know. I'm sorry to lose it as well. But whatever. They take off from there, and then shit. Where'd they go to next? I'm trying to draw a blank here.
Well, I want to say an attack happens. Is like an attack happen in the middle of their test or something like that? I think that's what happens. Yeah, they get and the lizard army comes in and starts attacking them, and you even see them fighting some enemies from like boss battles from other games, from like the first game, which by this point would have also been variations of in Star Fox 64.
Which almost, I know this is not how it was ever planned, but almost like the lizard people almost can kind of like lead into Dinosaur Planet.
It could actually. I didn't think of that. I was almost expecting, because some of them, even though they're lizards, some of them resemble frogs, and even though they're amphibians, I was almost expecting some shit for like Slippy to pop in, like he's gonna fight off one of his uncles or some shit.
It's just like brutally, I don't want to kill you, but I have to! Just start shanking him like, ah!
And then, like, his uncle is like, he's like this big, giant, badass toad with like 2 axes, looks all barbarian like. He's just, I come for you, Slippy! Like, oh, they all talk like that? Shit.
Get back here, you stupid fuck! Just like, oh god, I'm really surprised that, a group of toads and turtles, or not turtles, but fucking frogs isn't extinct yet. We're very, very smart and intelligent. Who do you think invented the track? Oh, yeah, shut the fuck up, Slippy. We don't want to hear about your fucking inventions again.
Oh, we forget they can reproduce. They could switch their gender, like Jurassic Park told us.
Yeah.
So as soon as they're about to run thin, one turns into a chick, one turns into a guy. They start fucking. They switch off that way. Happens like the course of an afternoon. It's really disturbing.
That's why you're always confused. That I remember that was the most confusing thing as a kid. Like those things that you're like, what? When you look in the manual and it's like, yeah, Slippy's is a dude. It's like, that's a fucking dude? Like, no, that's not a dude. That's a chick, man.
I assumed he was a dude, but I thought he was a little kid. Like, no, he's an adult. Like, oh, like the rest of them. Like, really? Oh shit. Okay. Like, I thought he was the kid of the team.
Well, see, because I always just had such a girl's voice that I was like, that can't be. I mean, in the Super Nintendo one, it does it because he's like, it's like they give him a deeper voice. He doesn't have that high pitched one there. But once in the 64, it's just like, the fuck? Like, it's just like those things. It's like there's like those moments you have in a kid where it's just like that wouldn't blow anybody's mind as an adult, but as a kid, you're like, no.
You go full on Palpatine. No.
Yeah.
But there's also that thing about when you see him like in later games, he went from being like, "It's me, Fox," to being kind of like, "Hey, Fox, it's me." Kind of, Yeah.
Well, I think that's what they did there. They're like, half the people think it's a chick and for some reason want to fuck it. So we don't want any more of these letters coming in. So we're gonna change that voice up. you get up a pent up fucking enraged 14-year-old. And then also those weird 62-year-olds that like to send in their odd art that they've created of them and Slippy together.
Don't open those letters. Just leave them there. Just pile them in the corner. Should we return to sender? No, it's too late for that.
It's better for them to not know the connection here. We're actually going to change our address.
They're hoping this artwork's going to make it into this month's issue of Nintendo Power. It's not.
No. And here's the worst part. We're going to keep getting it for the next 12 months.
That's got to be something. Because I know for some reason Sonic porn is a thing. For some reason. But Slippy, that's got to be a thing too. I mean, it's already in the name, so...
Yeah, so there's got to be one dastardly person out there at least who's attempted the Slippy porn, but...
Oh, do a barrel! Oh!
Whoa!
That's probably the easiest joke you could make.
Yeah. But as we go on in the real Star Fox here in the comic, They decide that, like, they need to go into this black hole here. And this is where, like, this is where I feel like the very heavy metalness of this comes out even more. It's because when they go to that black hole or whatnot, and then there's, like, the fucking colors start changing and everything like that, and then Fox is like, Dad? Is that fucking you? And he's like, come on, Junior. He's like, Dad, don't call me Junior in front of everybody. He's like, but you are Junior. You know, he's like, my name is Star Fox. We named the dog Star Fox.
Well, no, I'll say, because that's the thing. They like the ship. Like, you know what? The way the ship is built, it might be one of the only things that could handle the pressure of going into a black hole. And that's where all these things are coming from. And that's also where Andros comes on TV, like, I'm back, bitches! Like, oh, what? And that's where you kind of get a little bit of exposition about, before he goes in. Like, why is he going in there? Well, he feels he has to prove himself. Why? Well, you know, he was a great, you know, like, student, this and that. Then he dropped out. His dad died. This happened. He met Falco, who was street racing, fell into a bad crowd, started dealing in heroin a little bit, maybe. And then, you know, then we just kind of jump back. That's where now I notice. I can't believe I missed the sergeant thing, but I see it here, though. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it kind of has that kind of whole back.
I was just a sergeant then, and yeah, that's totally a joke because it's just one single picture.
You know, it's so on. And then it even just kind of even shows, like, battling, like, you know, in a sense, like, original, like, Star Fox, Andros battle right there where he's all, like, in the polygons and so on.
Mm-hmm. And I was going to say, I think that, like, I really like this thing a lot more when it starts going into stuff about his dad, because that's where you find out this whole... Because it's always, was his dad dead, or was it in his head, or whatever? And this one, it's saying, no, his dad's not dead. His dad just got locked into another dimension.
Yeah, well, it's like, I think his dad is, like, in a sense, dead from this dimension, but he got, like, transferred there. Because as we learn later on, it's like, Andros plants a car bomb. Or wait, that's how he kills the wife. Never mind.
That's like, yeah.
I forgot. I was getting that mixed up. Which is, it was like the weirdest part. He's like, yeah, I planted a car bomb, you know, out there, and I thought I was going to get your dad.
That's where it got a little heavier for you. We'll get to that part, but that got a little heavier right there. And basically, yeah, that's where it got super heavy metal for a second, because they're flying into that thing, and that's where his dad starts talking. I'm like, I'm here, Fox. Like, Sky Daddy, is that you?
Well, even, like, when it gets farther and deeper in that black hole, and then, like, this giant fucking whale just comes flying out of there in multicolors and brightness. And I just picture, that's where, like, Cheap Trick writes one of those sweet songs to play over there. Those ones they're not going to put on their regular albums.
Well, once they put in, because that's actually two different parts, because he goes through there.
Oh, I guess he goes through the black hole twice.
He goes through the wormhole, and that's where he fights off against Andros's face, which is just basically a robot. Like, we fucking did it. We saved the day. The end. And they later go back, and they're getting attacked by... It's just kind of another day. Like, oh, things are going good. And that's where Slippy's like, I got a girlfriend! She gave me my first wart! Like, oh, great, Slippy. That's fucking great. And then all of a sudden, their ship comes crashing down.
You wanna fucking see it? Just, like, whips out his dick, like, whoa. Slippy. we're not that fucking close. I know you think we're best friends. I don't even know if we're really regular friends. Peers is maybe too strong of a word.
Let me say this. You notice that how everyone can be in one room the minute you walk in, everyone leaves in different directions? I'm just saying, did you ever notice that pattern?
Well, I thought they were just hungry.
No, not when we're already in the kitchen. No, you know.
Oh. You want to touch the wart?
No, I don't want to touch the wart, but... Tell you what, I think the escape pod needed some cleaning. You mind going in there and checking that out? You want to be my friend? Go inside the escape pod right now.
Yeah. Here, I just
click. Oh no! You see, I could launch him into space. He's gonna get back somehow. I don't know. I don't know.
It's the Slippy way.
At least he's gone for 2 hours. Somehow he's gonna come back. Some alien's gonna come by. Yo, you lost this shit. Chuck it on our windshield and take off. And
don't you
somehow
fucking
he's
drop
alive.
your trash off on our planet. I'm not trash. Well, you're not fuckable either, so you get the fuck down there, you know. Falco, fuck you. Don't drop this shit off again.
Okay, other planet that sounds like Andrew Dice Clay.
But yeah, after Slippy shows his girlfriend. We all know that's fucking a lie.
Yeah. Then they're all just basically like, okay, well, just this big, I think it's the Great Fox, or at least some other ship comes crashing down. Like, oh, looks like we're going back to space. Looks like we're going back to war. And when they're getting up there, something happened. I don't remember what the details exactly, but basically they're kind of stuck in place for a minute because the ships just die of like they're out of
space fuel of some kind.
Space fuel somehow. I don't know exact details. Then this is where it gets like very 70s like progressive rock metal. You know what I mean? Like album cover. Because like stingrays from space. Oh no, space stingrays come in and start attacking them. Which those things are usually really docile, but not if they're in space apparently.
Yeah, exactly. Once they come in, they start...
Are those like an enemy from the game?
Well, I guess there's kind of those things in Star Fox 64.
I thought they're robots, but maybe
they're robots. They're not like this. Where in this one, it's like literally they're like in space, and there's all kinds of like sea creatures that come out, and that's where that's the part, man, where like somebody be like, "Yo, man, did you go see that fucking Star Fox movie that came out?" Like, shit, dude, shit. You gotta make sure you sneak your bong in. You know what I mean? When the attendant looks at you and goes, "What's wrong with your pants?" You just say, "I got a big dick, bro. You want to fucking see my wart?" Believe me, he won't ask questions after that. Especially if you say it in this voice. "You want to see my dick? It's got a big wart on it." Believe me, he definitely won't fucking ask questions.
Whatever you do, don't make eye contact with a Slippy fan for more than like 5 seconds. They'll assume you're their friend.
You can always tell because they're wearing a stupid fucking red hat. It's about like 2 sizes too small for their head.
The way you say that, a red hat, it's like a MAGA hat. Like, Trump is right!
He's my father! Oh, Jesus Christ!
He does look kind of like a frog. I'm not trying to get overly political here, but let's be honest. If you spray paint him green, other than Pepe, he does look like a fucking frog. Pepe. He has that slouchiness to him, you know?
I like the way you said Pepe. It's like, "Hey, Pepe."
Pepe. He's like, yes, it is me, Pepe the Frog.
But yeah, as we kind of go into space and all these sea creatures come out and so on, there's that part there where I think like the whale comes out. And I felt like that was just like parts like it's so fucking odd and weird, but it almost kind of still fits in Star Fox. Like that bonus level in Star Fox 64, you get to and where you just get all the fucking magical colors and shit that happens and whatnot. And it does just feel like you're in like a fucking heavy metal album or movie going on. But then you realize it's like that part's so weird because like that whale comes out and then all of a sudden it's just like, "Fox, it's your father. I'm in a spacecraft from another dimension. Whoa.
I'm a space whale."
It's like so fucking weird.
It's like South Park. "I'm Wilsiak. I'm from the moon."
I know, that was literally what I started thinking when I saw that and whatnot. Fucking Tom Cruise is gonna come out of that portal next. But
that whale thing, that really gave me like Grant Morrison or Neil Gaiman vibes, and the idea of like, they'll pull some weird obscure creature or thing from mythology, like, oh, here is like Nastruphos, the Celtic whale god that was worshipped by the pagans, or some shit, just some shit that most people forgot about, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Just so odd. And he's like, "Dad, that's you, man?" He's like, "Yes, son, but I'm trapped in another dimension, so I can't leave the whale body."
The whale's technically a spaceship, don't ask. But guess what? We got fuel!
But yeah, but the whale knows how to make fuel. It's just like, "Dad," like, "well, why don't you just join us?" "Oh, I can't, son. There's a big party with the whale, and it's another dimension thing. Ooh, spooky dimensions. I can't leave. See you, son."
Whale orgies.
You're like, "Dad, why can't you just be a father?" "Oh, yeah. I mean, I like kids. I like drugs more." Goes back to the fucking portal.
"I realized I was made to be a cool uncle, not a dad. Bye."
"Yeah. Here, son, have a beer. I'm doing my fatherly thing. I know you're 32, but that's okay."
Better late than never.
Yeah.
And then they recharge the ships, and we've got to mention, by this point, Slippy got kidnapped by Andros, and he's on like this little cross thing. We're gonna hang you up like Toad Christ.
Yeah, that's right. Of course, fucking Slippy gets, captured and whatnot, and
he's like looking for any information he can get.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, Andros has to sit there and tell him his fucking plan. He's like, "What's a stupid fucking toad? Like, what's he gonna say?"
Not like he's gonna miraculously get out of this somehow, or not like his friends are gonna save him. But after they get the, because Andros by this point he's just at some weird little post because he doesn't have his full army ready. His army's basically in ruin. By this point, he's at some random little post, and they come in and start they figure out where he's on. And Fortuna I don't remember. Is that a level from the game?
That is.
Which one is that?
It's shit. I'd have to look that up, but I know that's.
Is it a Landmaster level or something or?
I think it might be, but.
Maybe, then again, it also might be just a different version of it because this is Super Nintendo. I'm used to 64, so it could be that too.
Yeah. And I know that, oddly enough, that's one of those weird ones where that name, I think, is, mistranslated, one of those goofy ones where, they change it later on, but I always say, fuck it. That's what it, you know what I mean? If that's what it was in America, that's what it stayed. You don't fucking change that. It's like Eris changing her name to Aerith later on. They're like, yeah, but the guy just fucking mistranslated it. Fuck it. It's Eris. Don't you fucking tell me it's Aerith.
No, they're not too far back now. And as they go on, that's where I don't remember what his whole plan was, but I think he was planning just to stall, strain them out in space where they get attacked by all the space sea life shit, and that's they come in what the fuck? Because Whale Dad left him here's a portal to Andros, go fuck him, son. Woo.
Okay, Fortuna on Star Fox 64, just to clarify, that's where you first meet Star Wolf. Well, depending on which kind of trip you go, where you just do that, you're just on that sort of slightly snow planet that you do a little battle with him.
Oh, right, yeah. Okay, well, maybe it's different season right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then, the way actually Slippy gets out of there, he has gas or something. He has
it's giant anal beads that he's been wearing around his neck. My mother said they look nice on me!
I'm sure she did.
They smell just like her! Oh god, Slippy.
Slippy, yes, mother. Just get out of the fucking house for once. Can I wear your nice necklace? Those are... Yes, go ahead. Just fucking leave. Just imagine a Thanksgiving table with Slippy and his family. Hello, Slippy. Hello, Mother. Hello, Father. Hello, Cousin Carl. Hello, Frederick.
Aye. Oh! Could you pass the mashed potatoes?
Somebody's in the kitchen, making sweet potatoes. It falls over. Slippy, I need help! Oh! It's the kitchen, just the war zone. People are fucking up. People are fucking up left and right. Things are falling over. Help! Whoa, whoa. By the end of it, everybody's in the kitchen. Nobody's helping. They somehow just finagle their way into
just running around after each other. I'll get it. No, I got it. Just the worst fucking slapstick fucking comedy going on.
Nothing. That's what Thanksgiving is to them. No food is actually eaten. It's just them fumbling and fucking up for 3 hours straight in the kitchen. All right, we'll see you next year. Maybe that time we'll actually get to have a fucking turkey. Oh!
Yeah, exactly. But I think when they go to Fortuna, is that where they battle that, pretty much two-headed King Ghidorah?
Ghidorah?
Thing?
Yeah, they basically fight Ghidorah and
it's just missing one head. That's how they get away from the copyright thing. We'll just minus one of its fucking heads off.
Yeah, and we'll make it look. We'll make its face look kind of like Shenron, sort of.
Yeah, sorry, it does look like that. But that's almost kind of the interesting thing is, I guess in some of the Star Fox games, you would have a dragon thing, but it'd still be a robot. But it's in this one, it's he's battling and it really has a fairy dragon. There's one of those panels in there where it's on page 91 where there's the King Ghidorah looking thing, and then there's the pig flying, and then there's a little motorcade thing that I think Andros is in, and it's that looks so fucking Capsule Corp right there.
It does. Well, even the pig thing, I'm gonna say it. I'm pretty sure the robot pig right here, head aside from the head, it's meant to look like the original Mobile Suit Gundam, the one the main character in that show drove, just because it has the blue chest piece, the yellow vents, which in the plate where the nipples would be, that red center thing. Mm-hmm. I think it's meant to be an homage to that, because chances are, if you were making, like, drawing science fiction comics for a video game magazine back in the early 90s or mid 90s, chances are you probably knew of Gundam and all that stuff.
What you think about too is, like, you know, this comes from a Japanese guy. Like, he probably grew up on all, like, 70s Gundam on up his entire life. Because especially there's some panels too where you see it's like, oh, that's totally fine. It's just like slap a fucking pig head on there.
If it didn't have the pig head, yeah, you'd assume that was a Gundam. This is actually done by a bunch of American guys. This comic, though, right?
No, it's done by a
British.
Japanese guy. It's done by the guy's name is I know I wrote it down. Benimaru
That was an American guy.
Itao.
Oh, so this isn't an American or a British guy doing this then?
No. This is just like one of those ones where, like, probably this is one of those other kind of comics that maybe would have came out like a Koro comic or something goofy like that in Japan, and then they're like, bring it to America. They might have colored it here, because I always feel like sometimes, not say that Japanese don't have actual, because that's like a misconception, all comics in Japan are black and white. Like, they're fucking poor and they can't afford color or something like that. Like, I don't know where that stereotype comes from, but like, it's one of those ones, like, I think like all those Nintendo Power comics are pretty much brought on over.
Oh, okay.
Kind of from Japan.
All right, then.
Maybe not the Blast Corps one, but from Rare.
Oh, yeah. And then they just fight this. I like during this battle, Ghidorah just stomps on the little pod thing that Andros is in, and then, like, the robot, the little, like, pig robot, like, he was my father!
And then, of course, when Fox is flying off, he's like, Dad, I did it. I fucking killed a monkey.
Killed that dirty fucking ape. And then you see his dad, like, in the sun, like, good going, son. Fuck them all.
Yeah, fuck
I'm gonna go back to my whale orgy.
You know, if you lick a sea turtle, you can get high, son. Keep that in mind.
Try that DMT shit Joe Rogan's always talking about.
Shit, I'm doing it right now while I'm talking to you on my space phone. That transforms dimensions! Ooh! Dad, I think you're just having a little too much fun there in the other dimensions. It's like, well, there's no rules here, and there's no women to tell you to no, so it's just you and a bunch of dudes. You just go to town. Nobody, you know what I mean? Like, it's like when you're with your buddies. They never tell you to, you know, maybe you've had enough beer. No, not here.
If he tells you that, he's not your friend.
Yeah, you fucking beat the shit out of him with soap in your sock. Teaches him a fucking lesson, and then you kick him out of the dimension and say you don't belong here. You're not part of the cool club.
Then he always finds a way back. Those fucking frogs always do.
He's
Hi,
like,
James! Like, oh, shit. Oh, he has one, too.
We all have one, son. We all have one. And they live longer than all of us combined.
Somehow. For some...
Somehow.
God.
I've literally seen a laser curve around his head. That would never happen to anybody else. And it was my laser.
It was while he was asleep, too.
I fired many times. Somehow, some way.
I tried
like
to
that
suffocate.
chick in Metal Gear Solid 2, you just couldn't kill it.
I tried suffocating him with a pillow one time. He thought we were just having a playful pillow fight. He just screamed, "Slumber party!"
And then I just went back to my room. All the fun went out the window once he said that.
I just grabbed a rag filled with gasoline, huffed it till I passed out for the next 2 weeks.
At least I do
Hoping.
That'd be 2 weeks of dreaming that I would not have to see his ugly mug.
Until I had to go back and get more gasoline.
That's okay. Whales make gasoline, son. Scientific
Oh,
fact.
yeah, they do, don't they? They have fucking udders. They just have their fucking whale udders.
And we just milk them like we're like Iraqi soldiers hanging out with George Bush. Just and get that nice fine whale space gas.
Oh, God.
Puff a little bit while you're at it, because, you know, nothing's fun if you aren't high.
James McCloud. 1994. Nothing's fun if you ain't high.
Yeah, Star Fox.
It's just a picture of
tagline
him.
on the fucking cartridge.
It's that picture of him. It's when they have that like Star Wars prologue at the beginning of Star Fox 64, where it shows the old Star Fox team, has James McCloud with sunglasses, hands on hips, looking all righteous. That picture, it says, "Nothing's fun if you ain't high."
James McCloud.
So somehow Pigbot goes back and gets like DNA of Andros, drops in a little cloning thing. Says, "Now there's two of us."
Hey, have you ever wanted to fuck yourself? I never had till now. Just a pig standing there like, oh, this is not what I expected. Yeah, sexy. Yeah, that's right. Who's got a sexy Andros face? You do. No, you do. It's like, oh God, kill him quickly.
Two mad scientists just saying this back and forth to each other for like 3 hours straight. You do. No, you do.
This is worse than Slippy Toad's Thanksgiving.
So, like, well, here's my question. And which one, I guess, there's always been a clone. There's always been one hiding out, which I'll say this room they're in, it does have a super, I mean, it's part of what they're going for, but it does have that super creepy vibe because Andros, everything in the front is more red. Everything in the foreground, everything in the back just is blue and it has all those pipes and shit going everywhere. Just something about that's a little like unsettling, you know?
Yeah, it looks like Bob Hoskins, like, you know, pipe job that he has in the Brazil and whatnot, and the pipes are going everywhere in fucking England and shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then next they go to fucking, like, you know, back to, like, Sonic's hometown. They're like, hey, there's a fucking party here for you, Fox. You know,
yeah, we're back at Knothole Village, you know, and he's like, where's the hedgehog? Oh, he's off. Good. Fuck him. Hopefully he never comes back. And then they go back to, like, the village, because what they did when they knocked over Imperial freight ships, they would always, like, you know, Falk was like, we should keep some of the ship for ourselves, and Fox would get mad, but basically now they're just bringing all the money back. They bring money back, so now they're all local town heroes, and they even have like a animal version of Mario building a statue. It's like, you keep him fucking working.
Yeah, exactly.
If you just look at the way how he looks,
they got that going on, and then they even have that guy who like reminds me like in Robin Hood. There's that like sort of like there's that musician kind of bird,
the bard.
There's like the bard of it and so on, but it's like this is a futuristic version. The one who gets thrown in fucking jail, like, right off the fucking bat, like, no fucking songs about Robin Hood. Well, sure,
no fucking songs about foxes.
What's fucking on now?
I guess it's a fox thing. Maybe he just goes in jail for foxes.
Yeah, just like, the Sheriff of Nottingham. By the way, they're like, hey, we'll play a fucking song, have a party, and then all of a sudden, fucking, after, or I guess first they, like, explored, like, hey, man, remember our old pad? Yeah, dude, it's fucking sick. Like, even they kept all our holes the same, too. And then there's even that weird part where, like, what's the chick's name again in this?
Farrah. Oh, Fox has his mother's dress, because, he said his mother died when he was at a young age. And he just has his mother's dress.
In, like, a Batman, just like suitcase.
Yeah, like a Jason Todd like death case, like it's like not folded nice and pristine or something, like in the back of a closet or at the bottom of a drawer or something, or just like it's literally just hanging up there. Just like, why do you always have everything in this thing is falling apart? You sleep on a mattress that looks like it was actually a chair out of a 1988 Suburban that you just extended all the way back. Your dresser
is... I tried to extend it forward, but it broke, and that's just the position it was left in.
Yes. And you have a green dresser that's just literally like a 1940s trunk, but you got somehow you got this pristine, like, bulletproof case. It looks like something the Pope rides around in.
Yeah, and that sits above your bed, so that your mother's always watching over you. I guess it's a metaphor for something, but
yeah. So and then he says like, "Oh, here, put on this dress. Oh, wow, you look just like my mom."
That's gonna be awkward later tonight.
Yeah. Should I take it off? Not yet. No,
leave it on. Should we turn the lights off? No, leave the lights on, too. What about that picture of your family when you were 2 years old? No, leave that up. That's part of it. I have a weird relationship with my dad, okay? When I was born, he was, licking toads and huffing whales. I didn't know what that meant till yesterday.
I just want a mom right now. Will you go bake me some cereal? I think we have some Count Chocula left over.
Yeah. You're like, oh, I thought we were going to do something else. No, I want to sit here and just watch TV and just have you wait on me 24/7 like my mother did for 2 years.
Like one of those things. Every once in a while, can you yell at me and stop playing video games?
Yeah. Make me go do some chores. Just like build a fence or like take the trash out or something. I don't know.
And she's like, it's one of those things where she's like, God, this was maybe a mistake. I got it. She goes out front. All the R-Wings are already destroyed. Like, we're staying here now. I got my mom back. This was all the long game. Like, oh, fuck. This got really dark very quickly.
Yeah, exactly. Be like, I always wanted a mother. And now you are her. Even if I'm 32 years old, I can live the next, 84 years of my life. With you as my mom.
Like, all right, great, Fox. All right, that'd be just. What if they just did that on some franchise where they make the main character really lovable and likable for the first 2 films, the third film he just takes a hard turn like that, like by the end of the first act, like, whoa, where'd this come from? Like, he's got to be under the spell or control. Like, no, this was the long game. This is the guy you were rooting for this whole time. Like, oh fuck.
That would, you know what? When you say that would be so awesome. Just to make about the most lovable character you could possibly have for 2 films, and then just make him just like on the 3rd movie, he just starts doing everything you just didn't expect. Like, like, say, fuck it, man, I'm gonna fuck that Slippy, but Fox. Oh man, you know what? You keep tailing along. Of course, you want something. You want my fucking fox cock.
He's just like, but I'm a boy. You are now. Turn into a woman. I seen that Jurassic Park movie. I know what you can do.
Yeah, I don't know how many slaps it's gonna take, but your fucking hormones will change.
How many slaps does it take for a frog to get it to lose a dick? 1, 2, 3.
What are you like those lizards? Like if I hold on to it, you try to run away, it'll just snap off.
We can try that.
But as they're hanging out there partying and whatnot, and even he's like, well, I guess you can wear my mom's dress. It's literally not been ever since that car bomb explosion. It has not left that cage until you now expose it to the elements 22 years later.
So then, after that, that's where they're leading this parade. Like, yeah, Star Fox is back, which is funny because they have this big long splash page kind of spread across panel. All these people cheering behind them, and Falco's probably happy, but it looks like he's like, hey, get off the fucking car! Well, everybody else is all happy,
He's like, I still got fucking payments on this car. And then Slippy's got that look like, oh, what are they doing? What are they coming for? I don't have any pennies. Slippy, why do you need pennies? Well, Mother always said that if you see someone in need, give them money.
And maybe they'll leave you alone.
No, Slippy, that's the fucking worst idea. The second you give them money, they're just going to keep following you around. Just like how you fucking follow us around. We don't even give you money. But you give us love.
That's what friends do. Fuck.
Hey, fair.
I'm not even trying anymore.
Plant yourself right between me and the fucking toad.
I don't know why he always immediately sits next to me. It's not like it's one of those things like.
And then he'll just look at me like, you want a handy?
We can go all be seeing a movie together, all right? And for some reason, let's just say Peppy is sitting next to me. Peppy can get up and go to the bathroom. Slippy will then get up, waddle over past 3 other people, sit down next to me in Peppy's place. And when Peppy gets back, he has the thing where he stops and looks, but he just sits back down. He's not gonna bother.
Just fucking Slippy like something fucked in. You sure you don't want a handy? My uncle always loves a handy when he drives. Please,
I'm never going to understand frog culture.
Sit in the fucking center of the car.
Yeah, and once she sits in the center of the car, that's where he's not interested. He's looking the other way.
He's like, there's a giant pig bat back there, and I don't know. Woo!
Well, he's doing the R2-D2 scream. It's not... I don't want to use the word improvement, but it's not what it was before.
You know, I literally told General Pepper to put on the fucking, like, R-Wings. You put the fucking section back there that I could put him in there, and maybe space will kill him. I mean, it probably won't, but maybe it will.
Why do we give this thing its own fucking ship? I don't get it. And that's where we come back to Andros, and he's planning his revenge again. And basically, is there a vortex? And they just come out from the sky and just start shooting down at everything at their village, basically.
Yeah, it's like fucking General Pepper sitting there like shaving and fucking singing Elvis Presley songs.
Mm-hmm. Which that got by me the first time. Let's see. I know how. Oh, yeah, well, makes sense. Hound dog. Okay, yeah.
I mean, like, I get where it's going, but it's just like one of those ones. Like,
maybe they just really love Elvis, the guys who worked on this thing.
I know. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I fucking love Elvis too, but I just think it's a weird place to be dropping these Elvis. Like, the kids gotta fucking know.
Hellsing makes the Hellsing manga series makes a lot of like Metallica and Slayer, like a lot of metal references.
Well, that one kind of makes sense.
That makes sense for what it is, yeah. But moving forward from this,
I think it's where the attack just starts happening, and just like it's like, oh shit, it's Andros.
A big old space battle starts to happen, and I don't remember how Fox. I think they get on to the he has like a mothership flying over or something. Is that what it is? He has a mothership flying over him, or they go into some core or something. It's a level out of the game.
Yeah, well, there is like that alien mothership approaching.
Yeah, I think it is an alien mothership, and what's happening is they go into it, and from there, somewhere in the middle of this battle, earlier Fox said, like, once Farah puts on the dress, like, oh, wow, you look just like my mother, you know, and that's where they acknowledge that, like...
This is the other part gets kind of fucking weird.
Well, I mean, they acknowledge that that Andros has history. He was part of the military as well, like Fox's father and this and that. But then that's where they put in this weird love triangle thing where I thought this was just intense. I was surprised they put it in this book. That's where he sees like, Farah, you're alive. I didn't know that it was you gonna be driving the car. I thought it was James. Like, wait, what? And that's where Fox finds out that his father was his mother was accidentally murdered by Andros.
Yeah, well, I was just gonna say, it's just so weird that like Andros is like, I loved you, and that dirty Fox took you away from me.
Yeah, like it's like very supervillainish, but at the same time, I think for like what else they had to go off of, like, oh, that's actually an interesting take right there. And if they wanted to expand on that, like in the later versions, that would be cool. And there's the two Androsses, and by this point, you find out that like one is like, we gotta stop this. The other's like, no, we're too far from it. It's just like, I'm half Andros, just like you are. Like, you're the weak half, and he just like fucking blows him away.
Yeah, well, because that one's like, it's like, I found love. And it's almost like he's getting confused. He's almost forgetting about the battle now. He's like, wait, she's still alive? What?
Like, in war, there's no place for love. And he, like, just vaporizes him.
Yeah. But this is where it starts to just get, like, almost gets kind of brutal here. Like, you know, it's like in a comic book, but it's like almost like, God, like, you think about it, like, and there's even that part, too, when once fucking, like, Fox, there's this panel, it's on, like, page, like, 127, when Fox figures out that like Andros killed his mother, and it's just this yellow beam over. He's like, I need to go do this myself.
He looks fucking furious. Yeah,
it's just like, oh shit, something's gonna fucking go down. And then of course it's got these like I just love the way this book's also designed too. Like, this one of these books is like, for being like in a sense like almost 30 fucking years old, probably 30 years old, maybe even Japan, well, close to it, give or take. But it's got such a cool design, like, the whole way through that I can't even see books nowadays having this cool. Like, the panels, how they're all shift right there and just, like, crossing over each other and whatnot. And then you have, like, double-page explosions, but it only happens on, like, the bottom half. It's kind of fucking weird when you think about it.
Yeah, and it's actually what he ends up doing is he ends up chasing. You think he's going to go after and kill Andros, but no, he chases Andros into a wormhole. And here's the thing: I'm not sure if it was like you said, if this was part of something else before it got switched over to Nintendo Power. But these books always do end on very abruptly. Like I feel like they can just be moving along at their own pace. And then an editor walks in like, yo, you got 4 pages to wrap this shit up. Like, oh, fuck, okay. And because it does go from, like, he gets it, Fox continues doing all this cool space battle shit, but then he more or less chases Andros into the wormhole, and he says, like, why don't you go after him? Like, well, that's where my dad is. And after how long he waited, I think he's waiting for his last shot. So he's the one who deserves to kill Andros more than me. I thought that was actually kind of an interesting way to go about that. And
I was gonna say I like that a lot. I thought that actually was kind of a cool way. It's just like, fuck it, my dad needs to fucking finish this off. Let's get fucked up. That's what James would always wanted. Peppy's like, you sound just like your father did.
That's when like Deep Purple's come on no come on no. Let's go space trucking! Come on! That song is made
says,
like
the long live the Star Fox team right there at the very
as the
end.
credits roll. That's like that song is made to fly spaceships and do cocaine too.
Yeah, exactly. But I just think that is kind of like it is kind of fucking badass. It's kind of weird because you think about this once again. Like Nintendo Power in the early '90s. Once again, we all know that multiple like age ranges are playing video games, but like that magazine's kind of made for give or take around the 10-year-old. It's got fucking like a deep fucking ending in there and so on. Like in this last like 2 chapters of the book, it's like, oh shit, there's fucking like death and learning about these tragedies and so on and whatnot. You just don't expect it almost in like a Nintendo Power comic.
Well, the thing about something like this, I wish this book would continue on, or I wish they had more time to expand on it, because it starts off like it's just trying to sell a toy. That's the way it's kind of coming off as. And, the dude sprinkles in some of his own stuff. Now, even though I say it's like just trying to sell a toy, art-wise and style-wise, I really like it. Like, I'm going to say this as a Star Fox fan. This is, even though I don't like it as much as the Mario book or the Link to the Past book by Viz Media, that were also in Nintendo Power, I would still like to own this one just as a Nintendo and a Star Fox fan. And just it's an interesting piece of history. And that being said, the book itself is good looking and it stands out. Even like you were saying, the panel layout was cool too, just from that. And I feel like that something like this, if something like this had a chance to go on, I bet this would be really good, because Sonic the Hedgehog started off as just a very like goofy, silly ass fucking comic that was almost kind of like, yeah, it's probably gonna go for 10 issues and it's probably gonna stop. It's gonna be a little mini series, and then it picked up, and then it kept on going on and on and on, and people were like, oh wow, these are actually real characters that we developed into something.
Yeah, and it's literally never stopped, where sadly like these ones kind of have like a moment and it's kind of like, oh, the game's out, it sold well, fuck it, kill the comic.
Yeah, so now it's like, I wouldn't mind jumping it forward and checking out the 64 one, because I'm just curious to see what that one is. But I would see if it continues from here, or if it is just treating it like another reboot.
Yeah, exactly. They might have just got somebody else to do it and whatnot. But, no, yeah, whole way through, I thought this one was really cool. It's always interesting, too, I think, when you kind of get it when it's like, shit, they only are based off of, like, the very first game, Mm-hmm. There's something so different between that, or like if you make a Star Fox comic today, it's like, well, yeah, you got like 8 games to pull from or so. It's kind of weird to think there's only like that many games, but whatever. But you know what I mean? Like, and then here it's just like you're kind of making it's kind of like no different than like when we watch like that Mario anime. It's like shit, they based that all off like the first Mario game. Like that's
what's really interesting when they don't have like if you were to make granted they did make a Sonic movie, but I'm saying like. If you were to like if you really wanted to do like a fanish like super fan Sonic movie, like it's gonna have like Shadow, it's gonna have Knuckles, it's gonna have Blaze, they're gonna be going against Chaos, they're gonna like it's gonna have a little bit of this game, it's gonna have some Sonic CD,
it's gonna have Big the Cat.
Yeah, for some reason.
Just the silence.
But then like one guy in the back goes, I like fishing, But then like going off this, like you had one game to go off of. And like, all right, we got to fill in a lot of these holes here.
Yeah, and I don't know. I almost like it sounds kind of weird. I don't know if that almost kind of makes it kind of more interesting because you just don't know what you're gonna get. You know what I mean? Like 'cause it feels like what
kind of yeah.
I was just gonna say real quickly is like when you have a bunch of games already, it's kind of like you're sort of locked into like, hey, this is how things are. You can't just make shit up anymore. Like, you know what I mean? Like follow the path that's already been carved. Where like here, it's like you can't really mess anything up in a sense. You know what I mean? Because you know, you got your like initial blueprint from Shigeru Miyamoto, who might kill you if you did mess it up, but you never know. He has that like Mick Jagger like smile that is kind of frightening all at the same time.
Like, is he smiling because he likes you, or is he smiling because he just remembered a place where he could bury you if he needs to?
Yeah, exactly. But
no, but going back to Sonic, for instance, it's kind of like I've said now. If you want to do like a super like movie dedicated for fans or whatever, I guess there's enough lore to it you could. But thinking back on it, another example is back when it first came out, or like the first 2 or 3 games. I mean, what'd you really have to go off of? And that's where you have 2 vastly different versions, and then you had the comic, which is kind of like the middle ground of it. You had that silly ass fucking wannabe Roadrunner shit, The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. And then you had like, so that somebody looked at that and like, okay, I guess he's fun, he's fast, he's silly, right? And then someone else looked at the other one like, all right, it's kind of like, I guess, dystopian and serious, I guess, is what we can do with it, you know? Mm-hmm. And then you have the comic, it's like, all right, let's try and walk this middle ground and then throw more shit from the games.
And then you get the fucking Canadian one of like Sonic fucking, I almost said Sonic Jam, but not Sonic Jam, Sonic
Underground.
Where it's just that one's almost like it's like Star Fox Adventure, where I think somebody had like their own idea, like, hey man, this could be this fucking hip punk band and everything like that, and you know they fucking go on adventures and they gotta like battle like, you know, the man. It's like, fuck that. Throw Sonic the Hedgehog in there. The man's fucking Dr. Robotnik. There's a show.
Yeah.
Because that's literally like when you look at Dinosaur Planet and like, you know, you see like the N64 footage and like you see those pictures in like Nintendo Power and whatnot. And it's like, oh shit, look at this fucking game. You know that you could tell that was sort of like Rare's like, man, this is our fucking like, you know, most of these games we've been doing are kind of either other people's stuff and like this is gonna be really ours. I mean, yeah, we created Battletoads, we've created fucking Conker, we created, you know, things like Banjo-Kazooie and whatnot, but man, this fucking Dinosaur Planet's gonna be fucking it. Shigeru Miyamoto goes, that guy looks fucking like Star Fox. You know what? Fuck it. Make that guy the main character. Star Fox game. Go! Well, that's not what we were really designing.
You are now.
You hear me just stand there with that big fucking smile, being like, I don't know what to fucking say, but N64 in the trash. Start that GameCube now. He's still smiling. Is he gonna kill us, or is he just gonna?
He's looking at him like, the fuck he's still doing standing here? Why aren't you working? He's just smiling still. Like, all right.
I already got Luigi's Mansion done.
And he just kind of like walks over to the windows, like shifts the blinds once or twice, like, oh shit, okay. He just sent someone a signal, like, we'll go in the other room.
Yeah, okay.
You just hear like urgent footsteps up the stairs. Like, all right, we'll go in the other room. We'll start it.
Throw that N64 games in the trash. Yep, no more Dinosaur Planet for you.
He says it like he like the head designer is like, you wait, you stop. He just like walks over to him. He just grabs him by the shoulder, like very firmly, still with that real big smile. Walks over to the computer, drags a trash can over to the corner of the table, smiles. Do it. Do it. Like you can almost hear like you can almost hear the muscles stretching as he smiles.
Exactly. That's part of that thing. It's like, okay, fucking Star Fox Adventure's done. Hey, Microsoft. Oh, you're gonna offer us like $3 billion or whatever the fuck it is to have us. If we make Grab by the Ghoulies, you don't want to throw Age of the Empires characters in it, right? No? Cool. Okay, you fucking deal.
And then they go over there. They're just like, Shigeru, they just bump into him like, oh, how'd that turn out? You escaped. Or
well,
did
you? Almost like those ones. Like I feel like Microsoft just got like they got almost like Rare. It's just like put it in the corner with the others. It will stop the tyranny of Nintendo a bit more. hey, but we can really create some really good. I mean, literally, the '90s is all based off what. No bother, no bother. I love how this guy speaks English, and for some reason, the rare guys that are British don't speak. But whatever. No. You go in the corner there and throw a game out once in a while, but that's not what you're here for. But
we'll let you know when we need one. That is not today.
Yeah, that's always the weirdest thing about like Rare. Like it's like they made some games for 360, and I'm not gonna say like they're not like bad games, but like it's like they never. It's like I don't know what happened. Just like those ones, like they made like some of the biggest fucking games of like the 90s. You know, you go from like they made fucking Battletoads, then they made fucking Donkey Kong Country, then they made Banjo-Kazooie and GoldenEye and Perfect Dark and all this shit, and then it's like one of those ones like. You get to the 2000s, like, oh, they made Perfect Dark 0, which, wasn't Perfect Dark 1.
No, it was the most. It felt so generic though. Like it didn't did not have any kind of like real personality to it. And I remember playing that game. And I was just being super frustrated because like you got to protect Jonathan, like and just like he's like I'm the best guy on the team, And then like there's some mission where you'd always just run into some fucking hall, and I'm like, well, he's the AI. He's not gonna do anything. He just always get killed right away. It's like I gotta protect this dumb motherfucker, even though he's apparently the best guy on the team. Fuck him.
Yeah, that was that time period too, where like there was always gonna be that fucking mission at some point in the game where it's like protect this person. It's just like good thing that doesn't really exist anymore.
I'm glad. Well, that's one of the. I won't go into this whole other thing. That's the reason why I didn't like Dead Rising, because it'd always just be like it was nothing but escort missions after a while, and it would just be like something. Dude, gotta go this way. And they just go running in and like start whacking people. Either they'd be crying in a corner, or they just go run off into a corner and get killed by a bunch of zombies.
Yeah, that's what. Good thing is Dead Rising 4. It took a while, but they finally got around to making a perfect game by that point. But yeah, it's just sad that Rare has sort of been sitting there for like 20 years and just really hasn't made. I mean, there's a new Battletoads game coming out for Xbox One, so I mean, finally something fucking is happening. But for the most part, it's that kind of thing. It's just like God, you have this killer team that probably is all disbanded by now, because we all know they went to go make like Time Splitters and shit like that later on in other companies, but. For the most part, you had this killer team that, like, you should have been making sick fucking games. And then just, as I said, they just kind of, they made stuff. And it's not like it's, like, bad kind of games. It's just, like, it was just nothing legendary. Let's just say that, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it's one of those, yeah. Well, going back to Star Fox, because, that the whole way it came about is, like, they just gave Dinosaur Planet the Star Fox paint job, and they added in some flying mechanics, a couple flying levels here and there. But I'll say this, I'm not sure how much of this they actually is part of Star Fox canon by this point, because it changes pretty frequently and loosely. But regardless, I think this is a pretty fun book right here. It's not perfect, and I don't like it as much as the Mario one, because the Mario one was actually pretty funny. And this one, even, it's not really, there's some funny parts in it, but it's more of like, when you have a bunch of anthropomorphic animals and it's asking you to take it seriously, it's sometimes a little harder to do, but regardless, the artwork is really cool.
Yeah, the artwork's fucking top notch. And I will say though, it's one of those ones, like, it's taken, I will say at the end of the day though, it is taken like way more almost serious than you would think it would be. You would almost expect like a Saturday morning romp, and that's not what this fucking is. This is like, if this was just turned to a movie, it's like a PG-13 movie right here and there, practically.
Yeah, pretty much, which is what you'd expect for like Metroid or something.
Yeah, so totally fun if you can run across a copy of the old Star Fox, or if you find some of those issues. I think it appears in Nintendo Powers issues 45 to 55, so if you got those laying around.
Well, so this is a landmark form then.
Yeah. So, good times to be had there, and then we got some other fun like gems of like Nintendo comic books kind of coming up and so on. But till then, go check out oldmanorange.com for more podcast comic books like Pizza Boys. Got Pizza Boys issue 9 out right now on Amazon and Comixology. By the time this practically is almost out, it'll at least be by June 10th. But fun stuff. Go there. I'm Spencer Scott Holmes,
and I'm Ryan Dunnigan.
And we'll see you some other time.
Later, folks.
Thanks again for listening to the Old Man Orange podcast. Sure, check out oldmanorange.com for more podcasts, cartoons, music, animation, and a whole lot more.
We also have the Old Man Orange blog going with all kinds of fun stuff. If you easily want to support the show, use one of our Amazon links either on the website or in the description of the podcast below. Rate, review, and subscribe to the show either on Podbean, iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, Newgrounds, or anywhere else that you seem to get this podcast from. Grab the sitcom-styled comic book Pizza Boys on either Comic Central, Comixology, or Amazon. Want more podcasts? Check out the Indie Comics Club over at Comic Central. I also got a workout website called Thor's Hidden Gym, filled with fitness tips and tricks, videos, and a whole lot more fun stuff in the calisthenics world. Talk to us on Twitter at Spencer S. Holmes and Dunnigan Ryan. Like our Facebook pages of Old Man Orange Productions and Pizza Boys Comic. Thanks again, we're out of here.